Hello, welcome once again to A.O.S Academy's YouTube channel. Here we talk about everything related to language studies, exam preparation for those who are preparing for IELTS exam or TEF Canada or even TCF Canada examination. And we also work on Canada immigration for immigrants and international students who are currently trying to relocate to Canada. If you are just joining us, then please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit on the notification bell in order to get notified anytime we drop a content, and also share this video with your friends and family. Today we want to actually take a very interesting topic, and this topic was actually asked by one of our attendees for the JAPA to Canada in 2023 webinar session we had last year December. And as the question actually goes, it's the question 120 on our list, and it asks, is it possible to relocate to Canada in 2023 via FSWP? Now, for those who don't know what FSWP is, literally it just means the Federal Skilled Worker Program. And the person also said, I am a chartered accountant and my spouse is a construction manager. What province would you advise if I want to consider provincial nomination as my pathway? How do I ace my IELTS exam in one sitting? And the question was asked again by Temitope Seye-Ajala from Ghana. So perhaps maybe the person is a Nigerian and actually went to Canada. So this question once again was extracted from our JAPA to Canada in 2023 webinar Q&A session. Now, firstly, I would like to first tackle the first question, which was asked that is it possible to relocate to Canada in 2023 via FSWP? And Temitope, I would state that yes, it is very possible for you to relocate to Canada via the Federal Skilled Worker Program, which we know as the Federal FSWP. But if you want to relocate under the FSWP, then you need to have the criteria, the requirements that is required of you to actually, first of all, be eligible to get invited through the program before you have the opportunity to relocate. And in order to get the requirements, currently as of now, as of February 2023, it is actually possible for you to relocate via FSWP. But the very first thing you need to note is that if you want to relocate, you have not just that point system, but you have to be someone that they are actually looking for, someone that the occupation you have and the years of experience you have already would be able to amount for that ITA or the invitation to apply. And let me give you a particular scenario. People that were selected January 2023 under the FSWP, most of them were above the 500 mark, and people that were not above the 500 mark had at least 490 points in the express entry profile. And that is a lot of points for people that do not have some particular set of criteria. And I'll give you I'll give you about 4 to 5 different criteria that you need to have in order to level at par with the people or with the immigrants that they are actually selecting. First of all, you told us you are a chartered accountant. Beautiful. Because as a chartered accountant, especially if you have the ACCA professional designation or even the CIMA, the CIMA professional designation, then that means you are at the master's level. One of our clients who we actually worked for last year, Mr. Oluwatosin Shoderu, who was one of the people we actually invited to take part in our last JAPA to Canada in 2023 webinar. He was actually having his CIMA together with his ICANN. ICANN is also recognized, but if you have CIMA, it will be easier for WES, which is World Education Services, to equate that particular degree that you have, maybe a bachelor's degree, together with that CIMA as masters. A lot of people don't know this. If you have CIMA or if you even have ACCA as a chartered accountant, then you would be able to have that master's level of equivalence in Canada. That's the first criteria. The second criteria is that you have to be less than 40 years of age. in order to max out the points that will be given to you under the cumulative ranking system. If your spouse is a construction manager and you are a chartered accountant of maybe like 35 years or 38 years, so far you are not up to 40, then you have the opportunity to max out that particular point for age. That's the second thing. The third thing is that your years of experience, it's very important. If you're a chartered accountant and you have at least 3 years of experience working for either the government or for the private firm or even working for yourself, then you can be able to also max out the points that will be given to people that actually have years of experience, especially 3 years or more years of experience working. Also, if you are someone that, apart from your masters, apart from your years of experience, and apart from your age, you and your spouse are proficient in languages. Take for instance, if you are proficient in at least English language and you write your IELTS examination. For people that don't know, apart from the IELTS now, there is another option for English exams that you can actually write. The PTE, the Persian Test of English, has just been approved this year. I think it was early February or late January that it was approved by IRCC, Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, for candidates to write in place of IELTS. So now, as of this moment, you can actually write PTE. And if you already have PTE examination test results, best for you. You can use that PTE results now in place of IELTS for people that are scared of IELTS to actually apply and immigrate to Canada as of now. And I want to also inform you that if you have that, we have one formula we call 7877. If you have speaking 7.0 in your band, if you have listening 8.0, writing 7.0, and reading 7.0, then you have potentially been able to at least get the top ranking scores. You understand? If you go down in the listening, for instance, with 7.0 instead of 8.0, you would lose additional 50 points. Do you understand that you were meant to have? So if you worked on your IELTS examination in conjunction with your degree, in conjunction with your WES and your your age bracket, you can be able to max up those points. And as a result of that, you'll be able to get at least 450 or above. Do you understand? And as a result of that, you can definitely relocate through the FSWP. And mind you, instead of you just doing it solely, because you told us that you have your spouse who's a construction manager, so I'll take it that your spouse is also an educated person. So your spouse too can also work on the WES in order to get additional points. If the person has a bachelor's at least or a master's, your spouse can also work on the IELTS examination, you understand, in order to add up to your points if you are the principal applicant. And I'll give you a point, I'll give you a bonus tip. What we do, for instance, as A.O.S Canada IRC, is that we don't just work on one person's application at a time. So now that you are a spouse of another person, we can actually work on your own application whereby you are the principal applicant and your spouse is under you as a secondary applicant. Do you understand? Likewise, we can work on your spouse's application as a principal applicant while you are what? You are a secondary applicant under your spouse. So that would give you laxity, because any one of you that gets selected first by IRCC under the express entry profile will be the one that we are going to process, and we'll just leave out the other profile. It is accepted, it is allowed under the express entry profile. A lot of people do it. And if you are someone that would also like to work on the provincial nomination, I think you talked about that in your question. You said, I am a chartered accountant and my spouse is a construction manager. What provinces would you advise if I want to consider provincial nomination as my pathway? That's the second question. I think I've answered the first question very well. The second question now, if you want to actually go through provincial route, I will tell you that as a chartered accountant, take for instance Mr. Oluwaseye Tosin Shodero that I talked about, my cousin who is currently in Canada, in Vancouver, British Columbia precisely. He went through the FSWP last year. Do you understand? And how did he do it? Very simple. He didn't use the provincial nominee program. You understand that I used provincial nominee, and I've seen people like him that actually use the PNP program to relocate to places like Ontario, to places like British Columbia if you actually have a job offer. I didn't get a job offer in Ontario and I was still selected under the OINMP. Do you understand? And you can actually also go through the Alberta or the Manitoba provinces, provided that you have someone that is a family member or is a friend, your very close friend that can actually sponsor you, that can stay in place for you. And when I'm talking about sponsorship, I'm not talking about the person putting down his money, you understand, to sponsor you. No, the person just needs to actually provide you with some little documents that you would add up to your provincial nominee program. You understand? Just like I did, I have my own cousins in Ontario as well, apart from Oluwaseyi, and I used their own credentials, I used their own document to show that yes, under the provincial nominee program, that I actually have intent to reside and to stay in Ontario while I get there. And definitely Ontario, just like Lagos State, Nigeria, so it is it is one of the places that I would say is more developed. It is, even their rural areas are more developed. So I see nothing wrong with staying with my own cousins in, you understand, Ontario. So if you are someone like that, you would need to actually, I've given you about 3 to 4 provinces. Now you can choose either Ontario. Ontario is a very good place for chartered accountants, even construction managers, people, employers, Canadian employers are also looking for people under the construction. If your spouse has years of experience that can be backed up, do you understand? Then he can actually work on either Ontario, you understand, or Alberta. But I do always say something: if you are working under the provincial nominee program route, don't just always focus on one province. Take, for instance, I'll give you another pro tip that we use at A.O.S Canada IRC. If someone is coming to us to assist them with our provincial nominee programs, we don't just work on one province. For me, for instance, I didn't just work on Ontario. I worked on Ontario, even the one that was not part of provincial nominee program, which was the Quebec. I also worked on the QSWP, the Quebec Skilled Worker Program. I worked on Saskatchewan together with Ontario, and even on Prince Edward Island. You understand? I wasn't nominated by Prince Edward Island, neither was I nominated by Saskatchewan, but Ontario and Quebec actually gave me invitations. So I chose out of those provinces the one I wanted to actually process, and I chose Ontario in order to actually go to the capital of the country, and I didn't regret my decision. So the last question you asked is, how do I ace my IELTS exam in one sitting? Temitope, I'll tell you that if you want to ace your exam in just one sitting, then forget that you know English, please, because a lot of people, especially Nigerians that we come across, you understand, on a daily basis, the fact that you have spent, you understand, maybe like 12 years or 16 years learning English in, you understand, starts from primary to nursery, secondary to tertiary, that does not mean you know the English that IELTS are expecting from you to actually you understand. So forget you know English, please. Put that your ego, which I don't know if you have ego, but I'm just saying it generally. If anyone has ego, put the ego down and learn, you understand, English again, please, just for the purpose of this exam, so that you ace the exam in one sitting. Do you understand? And if you want to learn, if you want to get a class or a tutorial that will teach you, don't just go to any tutorial, please. It's very important. Go to a tutorial that, firstly, you can actually converse with with the tutor and get to know if that person also knows the English the IELTS standards way. Do you understand? So, and also note, anytime you want to prepare for IELTS examination, always use the materials that we are gotten from Cambridge English. It's very important. It's one of the organizers for IELTS, and we don't always like to use any other material. We can add up material to Cambridge English, but Cambridge English is the basics, or is the basic one. You understand? Is like the foundation. Without you having the content of the Cambridge English, and we have some Cambridge English materials that are 12 series in one. We have the 14 series in one. We have the 16 series in one. You may not go crazy about learning or using a lot of them, but at least if you are able to actually make use of 6 of those series. We, for instance, at A.O.S Academy Ltd, we have those Cambridge English materials, and if you go on our online school, ftc.aosacademy.com, you can actually see where we are selling the Cambridge materials. They are online materials we'll give you, you understand, in order to prepare you for IELTS exam. If you don't even want to learn with anybody, if you make use of that Cambridge English materials, at least 6 materials out of them, then you are rest assured, if you actually learned very well and you prepared well for those exams. And if you are the person that would like to be in a class, we have online trainings, we have virtual classes we always organize, for instance, at A.O.S Academy, that apart from even starting your English or preparing you, will first of all take you through a placement test to see your current level in English language before we start any class with you. Do you understand? After the placement test and we see your current level, do you understand? That is when we are now going to set you up together with our virtual coaches who will teach you online, and also with our online courses we have on our website again, ftc.aosacademy.com. If you want to actually go on that website, we have it on this I actually showed it on this screen now. Those are our websites. aosacademy.com is our main website, but our online school is ftc.aosacademy.com. So you can go on that website in order to see the Cambridge English and materials I'm talking about. So if you want to join our online school, we can actually teach you. Our virtual coaches are also available to teach you in order for you to excel in the IELTS exam at once without actually wasting money to write it 2, 3, 4 times. We have seen a lot of people that wrote it even 5 times and have still not made it. It is that serious because they are too pompous to go to classes. You understand? Some of them are too, they just go online and get any material. And as I said, if you just get any material and you don't use the material licensed by, you understand, Cambridge English or British Council, it's just as if you are wasting your time, because you will not get that point and you will continue wasting money. The money that you were made to just even spend half of, or even quarter of, or even stipends, you understand, 20% of, and I don't, then you actually can, but please, you have to what, take it serious. So as I said, the tip I gave you is that forget you know English, take yourself down to actually learn it again. We at A.O.S Academy, after our placement test, that's when we will now prepare you for the IELTS examination. And after preparing for the IELTS examination, it doesn't end there. Before we can vouch for you to go take the exam, we'll still require you to take our mock exam. Do you understand? The mock exam is just like IELTS, and it's going to test you the exact way the IELTS examiners are going to test you on the day of your exam. So it is only when you pass the mock exam we are now going to be rest assured that yes, you can actually go and face the real IELTS examination on the test day. So if you have gotten value from this, please like and share this video. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit on the notification bar to get notified anytime we drop a content. And as you do know it, every day by 3 p.m. we always give you nuggets and tips about what you should know about Canada immigration, about IELTS preparation, or TEF Canada or TCF Canada preparation, and even that of language studies for people that just want to learn French or even perfect their English language. So thank you very much once again. If you have any questions, you can drop it on the comment section during any of our Q&A sessions. We will do justice to some of those questions. And if you want to get featured, if you want your questions to get featured on this platform, on these Q&A sessions, you can also write to us on our email, admin@aosacademy.com or ftc@aosacademy.com. And if you have any questions you would like to ask, even beyond any of these questions, you can reach out to us on +234 810 771 4449 or on our Canadian number +1 647 947 4399. I do hope you enjoyed this series, and I hope to see you in the next Q&A session. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit on the notification bar once again, and like and share this video. Do have a lovely day ahead, and bye for now. Bye bye.